Welcome to Breakup Cheater, where every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal meets its shadow. Here we dive into jaw-dropping true-to-life stories of deception, heartbreak, and calculated justice. From shocking betrayals to the clever revenge that follows, we bring you tales that will make you question trust, loyalty, and the limits of human cunning. Subscribe and stay tuned, because every story here reminds us, truth always finds a way, and justice comes in many forms. Imagine the person you trusted most in the world suddenly revealing their darkest betrayal. The one you built your life with, your children, your home, turns against you, thinking they hold all the power. But what if the tables could be turned? What if the very arrogance that made them feel untouchable became their downfall? This is the story of Clara, a woman who thought she could control everything, until one man quietly and meticulously reclaimed everything she tried to steal. Stay tuned, because this isn't just a story of heartbreak. It's a story of calculated revenge, justice, and the ultimate triumph of patience over arrogance. The Queen of Arrogance. How I Took Back Everything. The Ultimatum. The kitchen light flickered, casting a strange shadow across her face. A shadow that made her smirk look colder, sharper, like a blade hidden behind silk. "Listen to me," she said, her voice cutting through the silence. "If you file for divorce, you'll be left with nothing. Not a penny. You'll pay for the divorce, alimony, child support, and custody of the kids. Forget it. I'll keep having fun with my lover, and there's nothing you can do about it." I stared at her, gripping my coffee mug so hard my knuckles turned white. She believed herself untouchable, above the law, above morality. "Do you really think I'll tolerate and fund your lifestyle?" I asked, calm but cold. Her laugh was sharp, triumphant. "You have no other choice." That night I didn't reply. Not because I was powerless, but because I realized something crucial. She hadn't anticipated my next move. She had built her throne thinking I would kneel. But she hadn't considered that her arrogance had created its own undoing. The making of a queen. When I first met her, Clara, she was intoxicating. Charming, magnetic, impossible not to fall for. She had the kind of smile that could light a crowded room, and her laugh. Oh, it could make anyone feel like the only person alive. We built a life together. 2 kids, a house filled with warmth, Sunday pancakes, dreams of traveling across Europe. I worked long hours to provide, while she stayed home initially, then took on part-time work for independence. But somewhere along the way, independence turned to secrecy. She began whispering on calls, dressing more for meetings than for me, stepping out for hours at a time. The kids learned not to ask where she was. Silence became the answer. The first real warning came when she learned about a friend's husband losing custody in a divorce. She was smug, like she'd discovered the cheat code to marriage. She began flaunting her power, her disdain, her ability to manipulate. And by the time she confronted me with her ultimatum, she wasn't threatening, she was gloating. The calm before the storm. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I leaned back in my chair, calm and collected, like a negotiator about to close a multi-million-dollar deal. "All right," I said softly, "if that's how you see it." Her smirk curled into a self-satisfied smile. She thought she'd won. But as she scrolled through her phone, I began walking the house, silently. Every receipt, every bank statement, every minor oversight she had made flashed in my mind. The joint accounts she thought were hers, the credit cards she used carelessly, even a secret investment account she bragged about to her lover, funded with our money. And then I remembered my uncle, our family lawyer. "If things ever go south, come to me first." By midnight I had a plan. Evidence would be collected. Every misstep she had made would become a weapon. When I filed for divorce, the tables wouldn't just turn. They'd shatter her entire world. The first mistake. 3 days later, Clara made her first mistake. I maintained my polite, distant facade, letting her arrogance blind her to the changes in my behavior. At dinner, she mentioned casually, "The girls will come over next weekend." I smiled faintly. "Funny, I have a business trip planned." Her eyes sparkled. "Perfect. More freedom for me." Unbeknownst to her, there was no business trip. I had hired a private investigator, an old army friend, to discreetly monitor her. Cameras, GPS trackers, and surveillance soon captured everything. Champagne, expensive takeout, lingerie. All funded by me. And the best part. Her drunken bragging about the secret account and gifts for her lover was all recorded. My uncle reviewed the footage and smiled knowingly. Not only proof of infidelity, but financial misconduct too. A shift in power. It began subtly. Her first panic came when her credit card was declined at her favorite boutique. "Something's wrong with the bank," she snapped. Feigned concern. "Really? Strange." Her personal cards were tied to joint assets, now frozen and under legal review. By Thursday, her panic was full-blown. "I can't access my savings," she cried. "Maybe you should be more careful with your lifestyle," I said, calm. 2 days later, a process server delivered divorce papers, surveillance footage, transcripts, and financial audits. She went pale, dropped her drink, and left without a word. Her arrogance had dissolved into fear. Desperation sets in. Late that night she called. Her voice trembled. "Maybe we can work this out. I'll stop seeing him. I'll change." I let silence stretch. "Work something out. After all your threats." "Yes, I was angry," she sniffled. "No," I said. "You meant every word. But I have a choice. And I've made it." Her lawyers tried everything. Partial custody, shared accounts, dropping alimony. But the court saw the evidence. Temporary orders were granted in my favor. Full custody, no access to joint assets. Alimony demands evaporated. Her confidence crumbled. The final hearing was clinical, merciless. Full custody to me, supervised visitation, no alimony, no claim to the house. Her threats boomeranged, striking with precise force. She sat frozen. Her lover fled at the courthouse steps. Her public humiliation was broadcast in real time. The woman who once ruled her world now had nothing. Picking up the pieces. Life returned to normal. I rebuilt routines. School runs, weekend hikes, laughter, burnt pancakes. Peace replaced chaos. I had not just won a legal battle. I had reclaimed my life and the future of my children. Clara. She had lost everything: friends, money, respect. Every threat she made had turned to dust. The last move. 3 years later, a letter arrived. Clara's handwriting trembled on the envelope. Inside, she claimed reform, pleaded for a second chance, and threatened to poison our daughter's perception of me. I didn't respond. I forwarded the letter to my lawyer as proof of harassment. The court extended supervised visitation another 3 years. Weeks later, the news revealed her arrest, attempting to scam an elderly couple. She had destroyed herself, and I had done nothing but step aside and let it happen. Justice served. Justice wasn't violent. It wasn't loud. It was precise. Every lie, every betrayal, every attempt to dominate me was methodically dismantled. Clara's empire of arrogance crumbled under the weight of her own mistakes, and I walked away with what mattered most: my daughter, my freedom, and my dignity. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is patience. The quiet, calculated kind that lets the guilty destroy themselves. I was tucking my daughter into bed one evening when she asked softly, "Daddy, are we safe now?" I smiled, kissed her forehead, and whispered, "Safer than ever." Clara's name faded into memory. The chaos she created was gone. And the peace we built, untouchable. Was this revenge justified? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story inspired you, like it, share it, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal, cunning, and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal meets its shadow. Stay sharp. Stay strong.